Hello, good evening, Tribuners. Welcome back with me, Mutiara, in Indonesian News of Tribun Lampung. We will present you an updating and interesting information from every place in Indonesia. And here, the complete news. The first news comes from East Java. The ELF minibus overturned, leaving 16 injured. The ELF minibus with police number B76006SP overturned on the Surabaya-Mojokerto Toll Road 714,400 lane A on Sunday, March 13, 2022. 16 people were injured in this accident. Details: 4 people suffered serious injuries and 12 people suffered minor injuries. The ELF car was involved in collision with a high-S car with license plate number DK7122AH and a bus with a police number A7309UP, which was traveling in the same direction. The 3-vehicle accident started when ELF's car drove from Jakarta to Madura in the fast lane. Arriving at kilometer 714,400 lane A, ELF's car overtook high-S car which was in the slow lane. Before successfully overtaking high-S car, the ELF's car hit the front of the high-S car. ELF's car driver tried to turn the steering wheel to the right, so it hit the body of the bus moving in the fast lane. The ELF's car rolled over in the slow lane. It is suspected that the ELF's car driver did not concentrate and anticipate when overtaking the vehicle in front of him. The next news is Jambi Deputy Governor's official house caught fire. The police immediately moved quickly to investigate the cause of the fire at the Jambi Deputy Governor's office, which occurred on Monday, 14 March 2022 in the morning. The Indonesian Automatic Fingerprint System team was dispatched to investigate the cause of the fire. For information, the official residence of the Deputy Governor of Jambi is in the area of Lieutenant General Suprapto Street, Tealanipura. The Director of Criminal and General Investigation of the Jambi Regional Police Grand Commissioner Kaswandi Irwan said that after receiving information that there was a fire, his team together with the Jambi Police Rescue went to the location of the fire. According to Police Grand Commissioner Kaswandi Irwan, he deployed the Jambi Regional Police Automatic Fingerprint System team, which was assisted by the Jambi City Resource Police Criminal Investigation Unit. Jambi Deputy Governor Abdullah Sani went straight to the Jambi Deputy Governor's official house, which was on fire. For information, the Jambi Deputy Governor's official house caught fire early this morning. According to the Jambi Tribun, Abdullah Sani has been at his official residence since the beginning. The cause of the fire at the Jambi Deputy Governor's official house is not yet known. Police Grand Commissioner Kaswandi Irwan said that the building that caught fire was the staff house of the Deputy Governor of Jambi. The house is still in one area right next to the main house. Currently, the house has been installed with the police lines for the stage of further inspection. The next news comes from Makassar. Bus and truck drivers line up long to get diesel. For almost a week, diesel fuel is scarce in Makassar City, Sulawesi. As a result, there were long queues of trucks and buses at a number of public refueling stations in Makassar City. One of them is at the Bawakaraeng Street Public Refueling Station. Dozens of buses and trucks line up to the side of the road to fill up with diesel fuel. As a result, there was a long traffic jam on Bawakaraeng Street to Urip Sumoharjo Street. 2 officers from the police were seen regulating the flow of traffic to unravel the congestion that occurred. The truck driver, Herman, complained about the long queues to refuel diesel. He admitted that he had been in line for almost 2 hours, but he had not yet received diesel. In addition, he does not yet know whether the amount of diesel fuel will be limited in the future. He admitted that before going to the Bawah Karyang Street public refilling station, 2 public refueling stations on Bawah Karyang Street were visited, but no diesel was available. Herman hopes that the government will find a solution to the shortage of the diesel. The next news comes from Bangka Belitung. A corpse was found on the beach Tanjungpendam. A body was found on the shore of Tanjungpendam Beach, Tanjungpandan District, Belitung Regency, Bangka Belitung Islands Province on Sunday, March 13, 2022 in the morning. The unidentified corpse was stuck in a hole in the seashore in a prone-off position, while his condition still leaves pictures of the body from the body to the feet wrapped in wet pines. After receiving the report, Alex went straight to the location where the body was found in the beach area. Incidentally, there was a member of the Belitung Reserve Police at the location, so the report was immediately forwarded. Not long after that, a group of the Indonesian Automatic Fingerprint System Unit Criminal Investigation Unit of the Belitung Reserve Police evacuated the body to the Marsidi Judono Regional General Hospital. The next news comes from Sumeneb. A man suspected of being a robber gets a warning shot. A viral video showing the shooting of a man by a police officer who allegedly took place on Adirasa Street, Kolor, Sumeneb is still unsolved. This is because from a source that has been confirmed by the media, it is stated that the man wearing a black jacket with a white helmet in the 26-second video is suspected of trying to seize a woman's motorbike. The man was using a sharp weapon. Because the perpetrator continued to insist, the police finally fired warning shot. However, the perpetrators actually pulled out a sharp weapon. Another source said that the man suspected of being a robber was a resident of Gading District, Sumeneb Regency. Separately, the head of the public relations section of the Sumeneb Reserve Police Commissioner Adjutant Widyarti Sutioning Tias explained that the initial perpetrator had indeed committed a crime against a woman. The incident, he said, was right in front of Sakina supermarket precisely on Adirasa Street, Kolor, Sumeneb at around 6 o'clock p.m. He added that the officer immediately asked the perpetrators to stop their actions. However, the person concerned did not pay attention until he was finally given a warning shot. And the next news is, hundreds of houses affected by strong winds in Gunung Kidul. The Gunung Kidul Regional Disaster Management Agency has recorded the damage caused by strong winds on Friday, March 11, 2022. The incident occurred in Kapanewon Palian, head of the Prevention, Preparedness, Rehabilitation and Reconstruction section of the Gunung Kidul Regional Disaster Management Agency, Agus Wibawa. He said that hundreds of houses were affected by the high winds. Until this morning, it was recorded that there were 186 houses affected by residents scattered in Mulusan and Karangsem villages. According to the data, the area that suffered the most damage was Mulusan with 177 housing units. 5 of them suffered severe damage. Agus also said that there were 186 heads of families affected, with a total of 705 people. According to him, there are a number of residents who are still evacuating because their houses were heavily damaged. According to Agus, until now, the handling at the disaster site is still being carried out. A handling post has also been established in the local village. However, he admits that the handling process is still a bit constrained, especially by the rainy weather condition. Apart from building houses for residents, strong winds in Palian yesterday also caused trees to fall. This was reported by the head of Public Relations Subsection of the Gunung Kidul Resort Police Commissioner Adjutant Suryanto. According to him, a number of fallen trees fell on residents' houses, blocked roads, and even hit power lines. Several residents were also reported to have been injured in this incident. He also said that the handling processing is still ongoing. The handling post and public kitchen have been established at the Kenteng Hamlet Hall, Mulusan. And the last news is, the abolition of antigen test result has not had an impact of the increase in passengers. The latest regulation regarding domestic travel requirements, namely no mandatory antigen or PCR tests, have taken effect in the past 6 days. Travelers, especially those who have received injection of second and third dose of COVID-19 vaccination or booster, are no longer required to present an antigen test or PCR. In Tanjung Selor Bulungan, this rule has also been applied by land transportation such as Damri. However, the general manager of Damri Tanjung Selor Triwijoyo Jati said that since the new regulation was enforced on March 8, it has not had an impact on increasing the number of Damri passengers. According to him, only a few routes have begun to experience an increase in passengers, such as the key Tete Tanjung Selor route, but overall there has been no increase. Triwijono also said that with the new rules, now his party no longer limits the number of passengers, but he admits that until now the number of passengers has not increased significantly. He hoped that, along with the loosening of travel requirements, the number of intercity bus passengers will also begin to increase. Well, that's all the news for today with me, Mutiara. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.